Greetings everyone, and welcome to No BS Baking. You got JP here. Now today, if you're looking to power up your bread, then plant-based proteins are the key. They can transform a simple loaf into a nutritional powerhouse, perfect for everyone from vegans to families looking for a health boost. Now get ready to bake smarter, and let's make every slice count. Bread and other bakery items is a daily staple for millions, but what if it could do more for you? Now, consumers are demanding foods that work harder for their health, and that includes the bread aisle. We're all looking for ways to get more out of the foods we love, and fortifying our baked goods with plant-based proteins is a perfect solution. And I'm going to give you some excellent ideas and ways to power up your home baking. Traditional enrichment and fortification commonly is built into bakery items using milk products or eggs. Now, beyond that, you likely noticed whey or soy added to a product to boost nutrition. The first thing we'll do is identify that whey is a byproduct of cheese-making process and therefore is classified as an animal source, which I personally have no problem with. But for some of you, this may be off the table. Now, this video is about plant-based options, so let's look at these. Protein-rich plants are grown around the world. However, each crop is usually concentrated in regions that support their specific climate and soil needs. There are generally around 5 main plant protein categories: legumes, nuts and seeds, grains and pseudocereals, vegetable, and fungi and algae-based proteins. Well, let's first break down this legume thing. Now, legumes are the big family of plants, including soybean, peanuts, and even fresh green beans. And when we're talking legumes, we're talking a lot. Whereas pulses are just part of the family and are mainly the dried seeds that grow inside the legume pods. So while all pulses come from legume plants, not all parts of the legume plant are considered a pulse. Now with that said, just to make things a bit more confusing, and while you can get plant-based protein from sources like rice, hemp, and soy, it's important to note that soy is not a pulse. Soybeans are a type of legume, but they are classified as oilseeds, a category that also includes peanuts because of their high fat content. By definition, pulses are dry, low in fat, and high in protein and fiber. Soybeans have a high fat content and are processed for both their oil and their protein, so they're not fit into the definition of a pulse. So as I noted previously, there are tens of thousands of legumes growing globally. But here are the main pulses and their legume family members that most commonly used in baking. Now, when you go out online or at the grocer even, you'll see that nutrition declarations are all over the place. Now, have you ever wondered why the protein levels in legume flours vary so much? Well, it comes down to 2 main things. First, the processing. A standard flour is just ground up beans, so its protein content is the same as the raw legume. But protein powders are highly processed to separate and concentrate the protein, boosting it to 70% or even 90%. Second, it's the legume itself. Naturally, soybeans have way more protein than chickpeas or lentils. So a soy flour usually will have a higher protein content from the start. This methodology holds true across everything else we'll discuss, so keep this in mind. Nuts and seeds are nutritional bombs, packed with not just healthy fats and fiber, but also a significant amount of protein, making them indispensable for anyone following a plant-rich diet. From the soft crunch of almonds and walnuts to the subtle texture of chia and flax seeds, they offer a diverse array of options to boost your protein intake in most everything you could imagine. However, incorporating nuts and seeds, especially in the form of flours or powders, can sometimes introduce a texture challenge, particularly in baked goods. That characteristic gritty mouthfeel often associated with nut flours like almond flour or even finely ground seeds. can be a hurdle for achieving the smooth, cohesive texture desired in many baked goods. This grittiness comes from their inherent fiber structure and high fat content, which behaves differently than gluten-rich wheat flours when mixed with liquids and baked. Because of different milling and growing locations, no two products are exactly the same, as we've talked about before. Now, each will have its own unique absorption requirements and textural characteristics, which may or may not be what you intended. The most important thing to do is to understand the final texture and nutritional complement you're looking for. Now, are you aiming for a smooth, delicate crumb or a hearty, rustic one? Little bit of added health benefits, or do you want to maximize the nutritional potential? By understanding your goal, you can select a product that more closely aligns with your goals. This may require testing different brands and types to see what works best for your specific recipe and objectives. So when it comes to seeds and seed products, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different types used in baking around the world. They can be found in many different forms, from basic ground seeds to concentrated forms used more so by the health supplement industry. However, I personally have used these concentrated versions recently in some testing for clients, and they are amazing. Instead of small increases in nutrition, huge gains can be made, pushing some aspects of the nutritional profile well into the double digits. So if I moved a bit too quickly through this, don't worry. The latest ebook edition to the Baking Assistant has everything in this video and much more in detail. Now, with respect to nuts, there is many, and they come in all sorts of different forms, from whole, sliced, crushed, flour form, and even concentrates. Now, I don't have the time in this video to go through all of these, but I provided a detailed overview in the previous mentioned ebook. That said, here are just a few of the key considerations for bakers when using nut products. Pseudocereals are a unique class of foods that are botanically classified as seeds, not true cereal grains. They're gaining popularity because they are naturally gluten-free and have an excellent nutritional profile, often containing more protein, fiber, and minerals than traditional grains. That said, traditional grains provide nutritional benefits, but may vary significantly pending the milling process and the region grown. Now, ancient grains have remained largely unchanged over the centuries and have not been hybridized or genetically altered to the extent of modern grains. They're highly nutritious, but often require additional care and subtle changes in process due to their unique gluten structures. Pseudocereals are a group of plants that produce seeds or fruits used in the same way as cereal grains. While not true cereals, they're highly valued for their nutritional profile, which is often superior to that of many common grains. They are notable sources of high-quality protein, providing more complex amino acid profile than many plant-based foods. In addition to their protein content, pseudocereals are rich in dietary fiber, which is crucial for digestive health, regularity, and overall gut health. Often neglected by mainstream agriculture, underutilized crops are a unique resource for improving dietary diversity. These resilient plants, such as finger millet, often have superior nutritional profiles to common staples, being rich in essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. By reintroducing these foods, some companies are playing a role in combating micronutrient deficiencies and enhancing overall public health. Although not traditionally considered a primary protein source, vegetables can significantly boost the nutritional profile of baked goods. They contribute protein directly and, more importantly, can be used to improve the overall quality of the protein in a recipe. For example, 100 grams of green peas contains approximately 5 grams of protein. While this is less than what's found in pulses or nuts, it represents a notable contribution from a vegetable. In baking, vegetables are often added as a puree, which offers several advantages beyond the nutritional boost. The puree enhances texture, adds moisture, and provides anti-staling benefits to the final product. The most powerful strategy involves using vegetable purees, flours, or concentrates like pea protein to achieve amino acid complementation. Many plant-based proteins are incomplete, meaning they do not contain all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient quantities. However, by combining different plant foods, you can create a complete protein profile. Classic example of this is combining grains which are often low in amino acid lysine with legumes like green peas which are high in it. By adding green pea puree or flour to a recipe containing wheat flour, you're directly complementing the amino acid profile of the grain, creating a more nutritionally complete protein. This is the key principle in plant-based diet and a powerful tool in plant-forward baking. And with all that said, yes, there are complete plant-based proteins, a few of which I've listed here. Significant innovation is transforming fungi, particularly through fermentation, into a sustainable source of protein. This technology uses a fraction of the land and water of traditional agriculture, and advancements are making it possible to produce microprotein with a neutral taste, color, and texture. Algae are emerging as a superfood of the future, offering a sustainable alternative that doesn't require significant land. Algae are exceptionally high in protein and rich in essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. New extraction methods are being developed to efficiently isolate these proteins, making them suitable for a wide range of food products, from powders to meat substitutes. When you decide to start experimenting with plant-based ingredients, remember that flavor, color, and texture is important. If you want a nice complementing flavor, then maybe a pea product might not work. I always suggest a neutral flavor and color product wherever possible. And remember that some nut flours and even products like rice protein can create a gritty or chalky-like texture. So be sure to think about this when selecting your nutrition-building ingredient. Remember also that the hydration can vary a lot depending on how much you add into the formula, the capacity and rate the ingredient hydrates at, the quality characteristics of the ingredient, and the milling process used, as discussed in previous videos. There can be a vast difference in the nutritional complement, milling, and processing from one brand to another, so do your research and look around. As I stated earlier, you can buy a product that contributes less nutrition or find the same type of product with high nutrition just by digging around online. Start conservatively and don't get crazy with the amount of these ingredients that you add in a formula. See how they work. Understand their unique requirements or effect on your baked product first, and then build from there. Lastly, do your research to create a logical bake plan and ensure you have the tools in place to understand the impact these additions have with respect to your nutritional objectives. If optimizing nutrition is your goal, then be sure to get the full version of the Baking Assistant with the new R&D Builder and Nutrition Analyzer for knowing exactly where you are nutritionally for any formula or recipe. Baking Assistant just keeps getting bigger, better, with more tools, reference, and everything you could want or imagine. Get it today. You will not be disappointed. Link in description.